How's it going? So I found this very cool website. It's called Whale Index. It's pretty much Dataroma, exactly the same. They also track filings of the top investors, right? So they have Whale Index versus S&P. All right. So if you look at 1 week returns, so Whale Index lost 9, S&P lost 6, right? Year to date, S&P 8, Whale is like 19. Okay, so what does that tell you? That tells you that this is unpredictable and this is unavoidable. All right, so if you think you're going to analyze better than super investors and their team, you're hugely mistaken. There is literally nothing you can do to avoid this these dips, right? You see this kind of massive dips, like dips in here, in here, in here. You see them? Like you cannot avoid them, right? Even if you buy a bond, you will still experience them. Now the difference between like whale, like leverage stocks and S&P is the volatility factor, right? So when you think about volatility, right? Now, if you're an S&P holder, you do not lose as much as the whale index or whatever, right? If you're S&P holder, you don't lose as much as, for example, Nasdaq or leverage Nasdaq, right? But the problem is you don't gain as much either. You see, if you're like S&P holder, um, you gained whatever, like 400% over 2006, which is what, like 15 years. Or if you compare it to whale index, they gained like 1,000 whatever 600%, right? So I'd rather take the volatility here and gain all of this in the long term than kind of sit on these meaningless numbers, you know. So why am I making this video? I'm reminding you, Dmitry, that right, this is unavoidable, right? If you think that you're gonna like sit there and analyze and you can catch and you can exit early out of a dip, it's not gonna happen because like the dip technically happened, technically speaking, over 2 days, like 4 days probably, right? Past week was the worst. You cannot predict and forecast short term. You know that, right? So trying to figure out whether it's going to decrease and trying to pull money out is a waste of your time because you won't be able to predict, all right? Because there is no fundamental reason for this to happen right now. The only thing is inflation is rising, and that's about it. All right, inflation and supply chain blocks. But you have to factor in that supply chain block was there even in 2019, right? So if we take away the fact that like the supply chain block was there in 2019, that means there's only inflation left. But if you factor in how many good things happening, like stimulus packages, companies are in profits, demand is rising, the the inflation alone cannot offset created depression by itself. I don't think it can, right? Let me check real quick. But I'll do it on my own time, right? Fundamentally, what I'm trying to tell you is, like, you can't predict it, and you have to swallow it, right? You just have to take the hits, and that's it. Take care.